Hello, my name is Denise Shane, and for my Zoom people, they don't get the luxury of going outside and doing some of the things that we do outside and some of the fun things in class, but I'm worried about them grasping the content. So what we're going to be starting with is doing some points, plotting points, which you probably already know how to do. And then the other thing is graphing a line. I'm going to shut the door because we got like quite a bit of noise going on. I'm so glad they're not coming for me. All right, so one of the things I want to talk about first, and we'll be plotting points, which you probably can do on your own. Like if you have an equation, you plug in an x, get a y out, and plot the dots. You've been doing that since 7th grade, I think. So the big thing that we're going to be talking about in this next section is this y equals mx plus b. Okay, now I'm going to give you the version that we are eventually going to get to. M is called the slope, and that is how angled the line is. This is steepness. Okay, so that's how steep it is, and then this right here is the y-intercept. Okay, so this is where it intersects the y-axis. So if I'm going to plot, I am going to start with, I'm going to get another color marker. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm going to start with plotting this first, then without lifting my pen up off my paper, this is where I go to next. So let's talk about, say, an equation like y equals 2x plus 3. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the y-intercept. Give me a minute to draw some graph here. Okay, so I'm going to start, since it says start here, this is where we're going to start on the y-axis. So I'm going to start at 1, 2, 3 on the y-axis, and then without lifting my pen up off my paper, this is called the slope. And from this point right here that I have my pencil on, or marker on, I'm going to use this slope. Now, this slope is 2 over 1, because that's what it means when it's a whole number like that. So I'm going to rise to 1, 2, and run to the right 1. And that's going to be my next point. So I would also go rise 2 and run 1. So I would eventually get a line. And by the way, if you run off of the paper, you can reverse that process and go drop 2 and run to the left, because dropping 2 is a negative, and going to the left is also a negative, so that would be like negative 2 over negative 1, which reduces to 2. So this would be the line 2x plus 3 equals y. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working on. And then I'll do another one just so that you have some negatives in there. Let's say I have an equation that's y equals negative 1/3 x minus 2. So again, I'm going to start at the y-intercept of negative 2, so it's down here on the y-axis. And then according to this, I'm going to drop 1 and run to the right, because this is positive, so I'm going to run to the right 3. Or remember, if I have negative 1 over 3, it's the same thing as 1 over negative 3. So I could go up 1 and to the left 1, 2, 3. Okay, and excuse my blocking view, but so then I would have this line as y equals negative 1/3 x minus 2. Now, once we get good at plotting these lines, then we're going to talk about plotting two lines and looking for the intersection, and that would be the solution that works for both lines. We could also talk about shading regions. Those are all things that are coming, but right now this is called slope-intercept form, and I'll write that up at the top. Slope-intercept form. There's an R in there. Form. It's written like that because you have the slope, which is the steepness of the line, and the y-intercept, which is where this ties down the line. In other words, if I don't have a y-intercept, that steepness, that same line could be anywhere. It's when I have a number, and by the way, that number could be 0. It could go through the origin and have the same steepness. So just having a slope isn't good enough to have a line. You have to anchor that line down with a y-intercept. I hope you understand this. And if you don't, please shoot me an email, because we can, I can hopefully clear it up, one-on-one with getting into what you're thinking, okay? So that's pretty much what this next couple days is going to be on. We're going to start on Thursday with plotting some points. And what I mean by that is, like, you might set up a table of values. You're going to pick some negatives, some positives, and plug them in. So I would go -2 times 2 is -4 plus 3 is -1. And, I would go through and do that. Okay. So, anyway, so if you have questions, email me. I'm going to post this on the module. Hopefully you'll understand. And if not, email me. Thanks. Bye.